Hello, welcome to Principles of Microeconomics. My name is Doug Gentry and I'll be your instructor for this course. I'd like to take just a few minutes during this clip to explain a little bit more about what microeconomics is about and also how we organize the course and some tips for being successful in the course. Let's do this first. Let's talk about the difference between microeconomics and macro. This course is on microeconomics, which has to do with markets. What we really focus on are two key players, buyers and sellers. What makes buyers motivated to buy a product, how much to spend, how many of the items to buy, how to use their income wisely. We also look at sellers, the producers, how they understand their costs, how they make their decisions to offer a good in the marketplace or not, and when to take themselves out of the marketplace entirely or to enter a brand new marketplace. There's also a third player that we spend a fair amount of time talking about in class, and that's government. Government often chooses to intervene or somehow get inside markets and manipulate them, if you will, or encourage them to go one way or another. You're actually going to hear me talk about, as we go through our material, you'll see references to government intervention as generally being a bad thing. Early on, in particular, we'll look at it that way. The government intervention, however well intended, often has unintended consequences and sort of gets in the way of the appropriate allocation of scarce resources. But later on in the course, we'll look at a number of situations where it actually might make sense for government to be involved. And so the government really becomes the third player in this story in microeconomics, buyers, sellers, and the government. Now, Principles of Macroeconomics is another class that you can take if you haven't already, and it deals at a sort of higher, broader level. It takes all these individual market decisions and combines them to see how an economy runs, looking at gross domestic product and inflation and interest rates and unemployment. And that's a different course. You're welcome to take it after this one, or some of you may have already taken it before taking Principles of Microeconomics. Yet, no problem. You'll find that this course, Microeconomics, is designed to stand on its own. So let's just talk a little bit about how I'm organizing this online class. We do it by week, and basically every Monday the new week starts and it completes the following Sunday. Every week has a series of topics that I want to make sure that we address, either through our online discussions or your readings or other resources. And then those topics are what you're responsible for in the various exams and quizzes along the way. Each week also has activities involved, if you will. There will be, almost every week, there'll be an online discussion focused either on the topic for that week or sometimes on the topic that's coming up in the week following. There are learning activities, there are projects, and so on. But basically, every week we try to tackle a certain set of topics, give you a chance to learn more about them, and also give you a chance to demonstrate that you've grasped those concepts correctly and well and thoroughly. Now, within each week, and we'll be using Moodle as our online environment. You've found that by finding this video clip. Right in the center column of Moodle, you'll see sections, one for each week. And in each week, you'll find one link, for instance, to key topics and resources. And you'll go there and you'll find the topics that we want to address for the week. And then you'll find a variety of resources, chapters in our online textbook, other outside resources that you may want to use. Sometimes there'll be other video clips, either a talking head like this one or a narrated presentation or something like that. But you'll find that within the week. And you'll find in each week section the assignment, if there is one, for a discussion forum. You'll find the question, a link to the forum, and also in several weeks you're going to find an assignment for what we call a short essay. There are two kinds of those. One has to do with describing economic concepts in your own words, IYOW, in your own words. And you'll find those kinds of assignments scattered through on a week-by-week basis. Sometimes the short essay it has a different acronym, TWAY, for the world around you. And that's where you take some concepts we've learned and apply them in a situation that I pose for you. We do have both a midterm and a final exam in this class. It's an online class, so both of those exams are open book and open note. You'll be asked to complete a set of essay style questions, and you're welcome to use resources available to you, except that I ask you not to get help from anybody else, but you're welcome to use your notes or book for that. And we're going to have at least one or one and a half, if you will, case studies that we'll be working on during this course. One in particular where you'll work with a small group of other classmates to help gather information, compare notes, test out answers with each other, and basically help each other out in trying to solve the problem in the case study. Ultimately, though, the case study results in a small paper that you write individually, giving your own answers for the question posed. Now, I've mentioned discussions, and there will be discussions just about every week. In one of the first weeks, you'll see a little introduction or instructions on how to follow those discussion forums, my expectations for adding posts, and so on. And you'll also find the first week that one of these short essays is due, you'll find some instructions for that as well. Now, just like with any other class, one of the things you should be looking through is the syllabus, and it's linked near the top of the Moodle homepage. And for our course, you'll see a link for the syllabus. And that, like any other course, represents kind of a contract between you and me, and you should read it through carefully about my expectations, how I intend to grade, the points, and so on. There's also, and you'll see a link in there, a schedule that you can download and print out that gives you a nice one-page summary of when various things are due, what our general topics are for each week, and which chapters in the textbook you can use to find them. That's kind of a handy reference. It's all there online, of course, but it oftentimes is helpful just to be able to download that and have that as a check for yourself, as a schedule as the term progresses. I do use Moodle for keeping track of my grades. You'll see a grade link over on the left-hand side, and so feel free to, and in fact I encourage you to check that pretty regularly. One, to measure your progress through the course, see how you're doing, but also to make sure that you've got scores and points for everything that's been due so far. And if you find yourself with 0 points on something, that'll be a moment to check and make sure that assignment has been completed and that you've turned it in. Now, in addition to the regular discussion forums and questions that I'll ask throughout the term, there's a more general one called Question and Answer, and you'll see a link to that near the top of the course homepage. And that's a great place to ask questions of me. I encourage you to get in touch with me individually, but many times questions you have about an assignment or what something might mean is probably a question that somebody else in the class has as well. So if you find the question and answer form near the top and you can post your question there, I'll answer it just as quickly, but then your question and the answer will be available to your classmates as well, and that's a good thing too. One other resource that you'll see a link to over on the right-hand side of our course is my blog. It's called plainsense.com, and I've been writing it for several years now, and it's designed for you. It's for my Principles of Economics students. It has short explanations of a variety of economic concepts, and it also has comments and articles and referrals to issues that are coming up in the world around us where these concepts might be applied. There's quite a few of them now, and I recommend, as you're trying to understand a certain concept, that you go to the blog, find that concept listed over on the left-hand side in the categories, and read through some of the past posts. Plus, I think that the blog's worth following in general, just as it points out things that are going on in the world around us as we proceed through the course. I look forward to working with all of you. There's some more information that you need to read just below where this video clip is posted about attendance and handing things on time, all of that kind of stuff. Make sure you read through that, and then still feel free to reach out to me by email in particular or phone if you've got any questions or concerns.